Hi, welcome everyone that's on YouTube. Obviously, it's George here. We've got others joining us hopefully a bit later on. So, firstly, I'd just like to say officially, George, happy 60th birthday. You obviously had that last week.
Thank you very much. Yeah, as of Tuesday, I'm now 60 years of age. So I've left my 50s and in the golden years, shall we say.
And looking younger. Remember, as I said, mate, 60 is the new 30. Well, that's what I tried to tell the traffic policeman, but he wouldn't believe
Yeah,
me.
indeed. Yeah.
So, George, sorry, go on.
I was going to say our friend Dawn over in California actually made a video the other day saying, no, 60 is not the new 30. You are, in fact, old when you're 60. But,
Yeah, but on this carnivore diet, it's what's all being said about it, 60 is going to be less than the new 30 because if we're all going to go beyond 100 quite
yeah, it's true.
comfortably, and, that's how you got to look at it. Anyhow, the reason for today's live stream is to talk about meetups. Now, the first one we wanted to talk about really is that we're thinking of setting up a winter meetup. So, George, do you want to give us a bit more detail about it?
Yeah, okay. It was born when I was talking to my brother the other day, and basically what it was is that he was given a haunch of venison, quite a large haunch of venison, by a gamekeeper, which is now residing in his fridge. And he says it's far too big for me and my wife. He said, "Well, what should we do with it?" So I thought, well, hang on a second, that could be the basis of a meetup. So I went away and gave it some thought and consulted Ashley, who is my guru, as you know, and also the caterer. And he thought it was quite a good idea because he can easily get other venison because it's very common at this time of the year, especially in November. Um, we can get pheasant as well. So we can have a sort of game meetup, a wild game meetup. It's going to be a bit different from the usual hog roast and beef and that sort of thing. And I don't know, not everybody is totally keen on game. But so what we're doing is we've established November the 15th as the Saturday, November the 15th as the date, because that falls before Phil Escott's retreat in Spain, I think the week before. Obviously, Sourdown would not be really suitable as a winter, but I again consulted Ashley. I said, do you know of any village halls that would be suitable? He said, yeah, there's one just down the road from me, a mile away from me, called Cainton Mandeville Village Hall. So I checked on the website and it has sufficient seating. It's a very modern facility. It's got an excellent kitchen and very, very good parking for 80 cars outside. So it's perfect. It's got a serving hatch in between the kitchen and the main dining room. It can provide all the tables, all the chairs that we need, and all the cutlery and the crockery. So it's kind of the perfect solution. It's only 2 miles from Sourdown, so those who went to Sourdown in the summer and remember it, it's very easy for them to find their way there. So we've got the basis of the feast, which is venison and pheasant, and we have the right location and we have a date. So once again, we now have just about 2 months in which to get it all together. Myself and Lauren and yourself and Lainey and Steph as well. Now we are the committee, and we're moving things forward. Myself and Lauren have a trip to go and meet the village councillors on September the 18th, and we're going to go and see Ashley afterwards and finalise the details for the menu for the meat. We're thinking of a 3-course affair, sit down affair, a bit more formal than the meet up back in the summer. We will start off with the charcuterie course as a starter, and then we'll have the main course of venison and pheasant, wild venison, wild pheasant, and we'll finish off with local cheeses. My view on that is probably local strong cheddar or local cheddar, Stilton and Somerset Brie, because Somerset does have quite a good brie industry. So that's the outline of what we're looking at. So,
and then it's more a social, communal get together, sit down. It's not going to be masses of lectures and talks. We may, depending on the uptake, we'll sort out potential some guests or whatever. But the principle really is a community get together and enjoy the seasonal meats Of yeah,
that's the ethos behind it. It's autumn, so we're going to go for the game, the wild game. Yes, I've already requested that somebody does an after dinner speech. In fact, not so much an after dinner speech, but we do know somebody who does their own stand up comedy act, and we've asked him. Haven't we?
rumor has it.
So yeah, hopefully you will actually deliver the act after dinner. There is a scope for maybe to get a speaker in as well, an after dinner speaker. We
Yeah.
should have plenty of time. I'm looking at
Um,
maybe.
what about your singing friend? Is he available?
Yeah, Tommy. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't heard from Tommy for a while, but I've got another couple of local acts, local people who do play that area. So that's a possibility. Not sure whether to go down the live music route or whether we should go back down the disco route again. But that is something for the committee to decide as we move forward. The most important thing really is that we get a bit of uptake between now and September the 18th, because obviously we don't get any uptake, then we can't really justify going ahead with it. So what we would like to see is a bit of maybe if we by the September the 18th we've got about 30 people interested, then we can that can probably be the basis for going ahead and booking the hall and going ahead and talking to Ashley, and then hopefully.
And we're looking at capping the numbers, aren't we? So we're looking at what, 50, 60, maybe 70 people. Is that the sort of figure we're looking at?
I mean, the hall can seat 100.
It's catering food wise, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So I would say, if we can get 60, I'd be very, very happy. I'd be happy to cap it at 60. But if there are other people who want to come as well, maybe we can stretch it to 70. Certainly, there will be no problem in getting the seating there. I don't think it would be a problem getting the correct amount of a wild game either, because November the 15th is smack in the middle of the pheasant season, and pheasants are to a penny really at that time, because their value is in the shooting aspect of it, and a lot of the birds the carcasses do get shipped abroad for use, but the gamekeepers are very readily willing to sell you them for very, very little money. In fact, I've received gifts from gamekeepers of pheasants quite a lot over the course of the years. And again, the deer are so common here. The roe deer is so common here in Somerset that they are becoming a bit of a menace on the roads, and they are very readily available. I actually lost a car to one in May of last year, which jumped out of the hedge and trashed the front of my car. Yeah, seriously. It was well, it just wrote the car off basically. The car was not really worthwhile insuring, so I took the hit of £2,000, bought myself a new one. But yeah, Bambi is readily available here in Somerset, shall we say? And it won't be a problem at all. As I said, the haunch that started all this, which my brother has in his freezer, that was a gift from a gamekeeper because he was trying to give it away. So yeah, it shouldn't be too difficult to get the.
And we'll have a bit of fun in the evening as well and all that. So we're not taking ourselves too serious, but it's an idea of people that may not have tried, pheasant. And as I say, is there any chance we might try and go for a wild boar as well? Because I think that's delicious.
That's a no. I asked Ashley, and he was emphatically that he did not have access to any wild boar. I have asked that question. But there are wild boar in the Forest of Dean, but he doesn't seem to have access to them. So I think we'll stick with the venison.
So you just leave my after dinner speech to be the boar then. So that's fair enough.
That's one way of looking at it, I suppose. Yeah, it's very true.
Yeah. Okay, brilliant. And then obviously, I will be putting a link up shortly for people that want to register interest. There's also the link is on Facebook on my channel, and I think I'll send it to you, George, so you can put it on yours. Because it's a very simple link. Just put your name, your email address in. There's a couple of questions that you may have interest about different various versions of Meetup, so you can give us some feedback. And then we can keep you posted and updated on the process. So obviously the winter Meetup's one, which is what we want to promote tonight, but also the success following our last summer Meetup, we're going ahead to do a second one of those, aren't we, at Sourdown? And then I'll talk about some other meetups that are in the planning. So do you want to talk about the second Great British Meetup in next year?
Yeah, sure. As you know, we did it on August the 2nd this year, which created one or two small issues. There was a lot of people saying that it was in the school holidays, and one or two of our friends were unable to make it because they're on family holidays. So basically, I decided this year that we should stay away from the 6 weeks holiday. Glastonbury Festival is having a fallow this year, so I did investigate Sourdown and replacing the Glastonbury Music Festival with our meetup. However, they are taking advantage of it themselves by holding a 3-day beer festival there. So we were unable to book it.
Right.
But she offered us June the 13th, Saturday, June the 13th, 2 weeks before that, because they like to do week on, week off. So they are having one of those public events on the Friday night when it becomes a community pop-up pub. I have suggested that and then that we attach the Great British Meetup to the following day. And I have asked that Lucy should get Ashley and his Happy Hog Roast in again on the Friday night. She said she has not yet planned that far in advance, but hopefully I can, myself and Ashley can make that happen. I don't see any reason why not, to be perfectly honest with you. So that will be a very similar to this year's format, which was good.
And the important thing is we've learned some valuable lessons from that first one. And one of them was obviously with the catering of the food. I think we're going to have much more control, especially over the portion side of it, how people are going to get the food and how it's paid for, because it did become a bit of a mass. People were jumping in and other people are having to wait a long period of time. So we're going to make that's an area we're going to focus on and make sure it's much more planned and managed, aren't we? So
very much so, which Ashley is totally on board with, because it will make life easier for him as well, because he had to really dig deep to keep the food coming. He had to keep on sending reinforcements from the mile up the road where he lives. So yeah, he's a lot happy with the idea of the portion control and much more managed. Yeah.
Because someone described it to me, it was like a plague of locusts coming in and stripping the meat down to the bone in no time at all. But I think we all know what us carnivores eat in terms of volume of meat, and I think that was probably slightly underestimated by Ashley. But he give him his dues. He pulled it out. He brought additional food in and all that. So but that's sort of part of when you start doing these, you learn from it, and we know it. So we're looking at the same for the Great British one in Somerset. We're looking for the same at the same venue. It's June the 13th.
Saturday, June the 13th. That's correct. Yeah.
Yep, and there might be some fun in that on the night before as well, like we had before, we believe. Is that correct?
Yeah, definitely. Lucy has confirmed that there will be a pop-up pub, community pub, as we had on August the 1st this year, when Ashley did the hog roast. So yeah, hopefully it'll be the same format again. Informal meetup on the Friday night, and then the formal meetup on the Saturday. Just one other thing to note is that we kind of lost control of the timings this year, because we underestimated the time that it would take to do the speeches. Therefore, we will be cutting down on the number of speakers and the time. Now, the time allotted to the speakers will be the same, but we've learned that basically we can't fit in as many speakers as we had last year. So there will be certainly one main speaker, maybe a couple on the undercard. I've got a lot of people pressurising me already to come and speak, but it's as I keep on telling everybody, this is not the Carnivore Conference. The Carnivore Conference has its place, as does the PHC, but this is a party. This is about enjoying ourselves, and we will have speakers, entertainment in the morning, but the most important thing is that we finish by lunchtime so that everybody can have a relaxed lunch. We'll then probably have a raffle in the afternoon as we did before, but we'll manage that slightly differently as well.
Oh, yes, we will.
And then we will definitely be into the socialising, the music, so that Lauren can dance the night away, as she called it, and she kept her promise at the last one. So for the younger people, yeah, and then maybe finish a little bit early, because I think we went on till 10 o'clock this time round, and really I think most people had drifted away by 8:30, 9 o'clock. I certainly had. So yeah, just a few little tweaks really, because it was our first attempt last time, and as I said to you before, I think I gave us a 7 out of 10, and I'll be hoping to improve that to a 9 out of 10 this time round. Fingers crossed.
And we're potentially looking at using the marquee that's on the site, which helps us host more people as well, aren't we? So again, it's down onto ticket sales and numbers, so we can make sure that more people can be engaged and involved in the whole event.
Yeah, we were absolutely at maximum capacity in the barn on August. Only 120 odd people because I think we had a few no shows. So as Lucy pointed out, we can't really if we're aiming for 200, which I hope we are this year. She can easily seat that in the marquee. She has suggested that when we hire the PA system, we also hire a mobile stage and also the screen and projector, as we nearly did last year. But she had the capacity with that 86-inch screen. We won't have access to that this year, so we'll have to look at getting the screen and the projector and the stage as part of the PA system hire. So again, that's just going to add a little bit of expense, but that's something we will have to deal with when we come to doing the costings.
Yep. And then obviously the final bit obviously I want to talk about, and I'll just put that link up now. So I'm putting the link up on my YouTube channel for people that want to register their interest. It's just a register of interest. There's nothing else than that, and it just gives us an opportunity to keep you informed and posted of other events that we're looking at. Because I was hoping to do this week, but I'm struggling. But I'm hoping to go and visit a couple that was at the meetup who have a facility or a farm in Kent. And we're looking to potentially put on a meetup there as well. We don't know if it's going to be a mini or a large one, but we're going to discuss that when I get over to see them. And then we had another people contact us, someone in Devon, is that right, George, that wanted to do a meetup?
It was Dorset, down in Dorchester, I believe.
Dorset, right.
Yeah, Paul, his name was, and he was very interested. And there are about 4 people in the local area, including our friend Jonathan. So I suggested they get together and have a look at a Dorset meetup, mini meetup, or medium-sized meetup, or.
And did we have Billy or someone from Scotland interested in putting another one on?
Yeah, Billy from the Highlands. He'd actually travelled right the way down from the north of Scotland in the Highlands. He had a good chat with me just before he left. He was going to drive back, do it in 2 shifts. He was going to drive and stop somewhere in the north of England that night, and then was going to drive back to the Highlands the next day. So, yeah, Billy's also keen, but it's a question of whether he can find himself some fellow carnivores in the Highlands. But,
well, that's where I see part of our role. If we promote the opportunities of meetups, I feel that once we get our little cohort of various people in the various areas, we can either get them to do and create their own mini meetup, or if there's enough interest in there, then we could be able to step in and use our expertise and setting up a bigger main event, and then perhaps we can have a chain of events. And even as I joked about, we could end up having a rock group's T-shirt where you had all the different events with the dates on the back, and you can tick off when you've been to those. So become a collector's item.
Why not? And also, as you know, one thing I'm trying to do at the moment is get a bit of international interchange between the United States and the UK. As you know, I've just been over to Wyoming. I found it surprisingly easy. It's not cheap, but on the other hand, it's if you're going to go on holiday, then instead of going like to a Mediterranean resort or something, well, why not go to a meetup? Because it's going to be a lot more fun, and basically the food you're going to get there is going to be a lot easier to manage than the food you're going to find in a commercial hotel. So yeah, I'm very much in favour of that. And as a matter of interest from my American community in coming over for the meetup, many of whom are actually volunteering to speak, and I'm having to explain that we probably we'll have limited space for the speakers, but a couple of the truly big names actually in the carnivore world are hoping to come over in June of next year to be there. So just watch this space. I'm not going to drop any names at the moment because it's
that's not right at the moment. But we do think some of the well-known bigger hitters have the potential of joining us at the summer meetup. So
yeah, and they certainly expressed a desire to do so. But it's a question of obviously logistics and administration and that sort of thing.
Yep, indeed. Is there anything else you want to add, George, before we wrap up?
Not really, no. Just let's go over it again. November the 15th, Keynes Mandeville Village Hall. Probably a 12 p.m. start for a 1 p.m. first course. That is the wild game meetup, venison and pheasant. It will be a sit-down affair, not necessarily a black tie affair or anything, but just it will be seated at a meal rather than a barbecue or anything. After dinner act from Carl as the carnivore speaker as well, because certainly I've got some people who want to come and speak at all these events, so we might get a more serious speaker as well as Carl's comedy act, and then we'll be able to move the tables a bit and get a bit of a dance floor going. So that's the November the 15th one, and then Saturday the 13th of June next year at Sourdown will be very similar to the one which people will experience this year. Just a few tweaks really on the food front, on the speakers front, and also how we seek people for the speech part of it itself. But those of you who actually came to this year's, it will be pretty similar. So yeah, that's
and obviously we are planning other events, but at the moment we can't do too much detail. But if people register their interest on the link that's sent on my YouTube, on my Facebook, and I'll get it to you so you can share it as well, George, on yours. Then if people register their interest, we can keep them informed as things are being firmed up, which will happen in the next, as you say, you've got another meeting on the 18th of September, and we really need to gauge some ideas of how many people are interested in doing this sort of event to make it viable, to make it worthwhile for all involved. So please register your interest, contact us. We're all available on the various social medias. George is becoming a bit of a media whore at the moment. Every time I go on YouTube, his face is appearing on it.
It's
so
it's not. Well, yeah, I suppose so. Yeah,
I am teasing, George. I'm teasing.
But on the other hand, I am. I think one of my great friends, Jilly, called me a media tart the other day when I was on Facebook. Although to be fair, Lynn Tucker Carnival jumped in and defended me and said that I was far from a media tart. I was just a well-meaning carnivore. So you will find me on Facebook. Please come and find me. I've just had to delete somebody from Facebook who snuck in under my radar. But that's a different story. As a sort of military carnivore and stayed as somebody who was after something rather different. But I've just dealt with that. So there we go.
Well, it's different type of camouflage, George. Different type of camouflage.
It is a different type of camouflage. Yeah, to say the very least. But come and find me on Facebook, and we'll probably put up the links on Facebook as well, I would imagine. And then we'll take it from there. But please, we want about 30 names by the 18th of December, which is about 10 days away, just to make us sure that it's going to be a viable project. If we don't, then we're going to have to really seriously consider as to whether it's going to go ahead or not. We'd love it to, but obviously there are costs involved.
All best will intentions is, we get it out there. People should register their interest. Then we have a much clearer picture of if it's going to be 50, 60, 70, whatever it is.
Exactly, yeah.
We'll cater for it accordingly. That's not an issue. So, brilliant. Thank you, George. Is there anything you want to add before we wrap up?
No.
Brilliant. I love that. So all I'll say to everybody is stay primal, kill the carbs, not your health. Sorry, I nearly forgot my own tagline there. Brilliant. Thank you. And good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.